as a web developer and CSS programmer, and then I do freelance graphic design, web design, photography, video editing, and etc. Schooling was in just general art and graphic design. With web design, it brings on a whole new meaning because cascading style sheets now has much more power. Basically, everything you do on the website can be styled in CSS. And actually, it's a good practice to do all with CSS. What I do here, since we do a lot of websites that are run with a content management system, since they are large websites, we have our own content management system that we have programmed. So we create a template that works with that program, and then our users, our customers, will log in to the back end of that website and add their information. They don't actually have to mess around with the design at all. And then if they need to change something, change a font on something, change a font size on something, change a color on some text, even change images or widths of columns, or how many columns, all this stuff can be changed in the CSS. So we do a lot of study on usability. We do a whole bunch of hours just talking about how are we going to organize this information. We do a lot of very large websites, so it's maybe 500 pages of information, but you have to somehow sugarcoat this 500 pages of information into a very simple design and a very simple interface so that the user does not know that there's 500 pages of this website. They just want to get this one bit of information, and to be able to provide a very easy way for them to get that one bit of information and be done with it. CSS has actually been around for around 10 years. It's just recently become the standard in the past 5 or so years. When developing these websites, we have to think about older browsers, because older browsers didn't support all of the HTML and CSS as the newer browsers and the standards compliant browsers. There's actually a whole organization that is just working on web standards and trying to unify all of the browsers so that it makes my job a whole lot easier, so that I don't have to program the website, then figure out, okay, it works in these browsers, and then have to add extra code and change things and even break things that I would that I have in my code so that it'll work in older browsers. There's all these different things that a lot of people have, all of these great fancy things on their website and animations and music and all this stuff, but if I'm viewing from a browser or a mobile phone that doesn't support any images or music or sound, how am I going to be able to get the information that I need? With CSS, it allows you to fall back nicely. So if I create a website with all these graphics and all these different things, and I style it in CSS, if someone doesn't have that, I can actually tell the browser that it'll just read all the text for them. This website I did on my freelance time, and these are all images. I've got, this is an image here to kind of bring some contrast and some extra, oomph to the page. But if you turn off all the CSS, it looks like this. And they have to use a what's called a screen reader. They're still going to be able to get all the information. They're not going to see all the images, they're not going to see all the fancy animations and the bells and whistles, but they're going to be able to get every bit of information, and it's going to read it in order. So basically, a screen reader will read the website just like this. So it'll say the navigation first, so that if the person wants to go to the to another page right away, they don't have to wait to read the whole page. And then here, very easy, the latest news right up in the front, so that they get that latest news. So if that changes, that's read first. Then it goes to the static information, which is the information about welcome. This is about the conference. Here is the information. And then again, another navigation, and then all the footer information. An HTML book, and I've used several online resources. And my online resources have changed because there have been some newer up-and-coming websites that are really good for web designers and web developers, and even just marketing people in general, just to learn about the trends of the web, to learn about the trends of design, the trends of even just, like people's technology. What are people using? What size screen are people seeing my website on? What browsers are they using? And all of these things, and seeing kind of these trends. And even like there's statistics programs on the web which will even record where they move their mouse on your website. So you can find out, oh, people are going, 90% of the people going to my website are going directly to my portfolio, and they're not looking at anything else. Okay, well that's cool. Or they're going here, or they look a little confused. They keep moving the mouse around and trying to figure out where to go. All these different things. So you can basically read up on every aspect of like the human mind and how they use the web and what the trends are, just by following some really great blogs and RSS feeds and stuff. As for my process, this is my personal website. I do all of my design in Photoshop at first, and then basically break it out from there. I do all hand coding, just because I like to have more control over it. These, all of my images and all that stuff I do in Photoshop, like I said. And then this is all running on a program called WordPress, because it's just a graphical interface. Put in my username and password, and then this is what it looks like. I can create a new post. If I have a new thing for my portfolio, I just go and write a new post. I put in a title, I put in the post, add a tag, add it to a category, and I hit save, and it's done. I can go and manage all of my previous posts. So here's all the other different things. If I want to go and add new tags. Tags are great for searching, so search engines will pick up these tags and drop visitors off at that particular entry. So if they're looking for something like web design, for web design and photography for a band, that's going to pick up these tags and drop it off right at one of those posts that I've done web design and photography for a band. It's a good thing to use that blog theory, that even just the concept within corporate sites and personal sites, because it's constantly changing information so that search engines are picking that up. And then also it's fresh content for people. It gives people an excuse to go to your website again. If you just have a website that you don't change in 5 years, people will go there once and be like, oh, that's it, okay, done. You've lost your connection with your audience of whatever magnitude you want. By creating this, changing media, you're creating an excuse for people to come and see it, and that's creating a connection and community within that. So, work full time and then do my freelance design on my spare time, but in my other spare time, I basically sit and I read through my RSS feeds and find out, you know, what's going on, both blog-wise and designer-wise.
So Tracy, thank you for the interview, and I appreciate your time.
You're welcome.
And good luck in your future.
Thank you very much.
You're on.